Hello everyone and welcome to game 2 in this series between Hasu and Xlord here on Antigua Shipyard. Game 1, a very nice game between Hasu and Xlord. Hasu, actually I don't want to give anything away. If you guys haven't watched it, definitely watch that game. The game really went back and forth and was really entertaining. Perhaps one of the best games I've cast since the start of the year, at the very least. Perhaps going back further than that. I wish I could have gotten more ramped up for it, as I just simply wasn't expecting the game to go that way. Anyways, Xlord spawning at the 10 o'clock location of Antigua Shipyard as the blue Zerg. Meanwhile, Hasu spawning as the red Protoss here at the 5 o'clock position. Now, Antigua Shipyard, you normally, if this is the BattleNet version, you can have things beside crossbows, but I believe this is the IC Cup version, meaning that there is a supply depot burrowed down here, and it may be forced cross positions. I'm not 100% sure based upon this, but the probe is scouting around. He is going to see that his opponent has not spawned counterclockwise to him, and he will quickly find out that his opponent has in fact spawned cross spawns here on Antigua Shipyard, meaning that if Hasu wanted to, he could go for a greedy Nexus first, or try to play a little bit more safe and go for that Forge first. It looks like it will be a Forge first as the probe now makes its way around the map. It is going to scout out this position over here, as this one probe will come up the ramp, take a look, and see that Xlord is already going for that spawning pool. Spawning pool first. It doesn't look like there is any assimilators just quite yet, as Xlord should be following this up with a hatchery right about now. There you see the drone making its way, and it should be able to get there in time to grow up and be a hatchery. Yes, 1 split second faster than that one probe, and the probe pretty much can't block that hatchery from coming in. The probe on the other side of the map going to instead warp in a Nexus, knowing that there is not going to be any speed boosted lings, and then follow it up with a photon cannon. Hasu is doing a little bit of a gamble here, or taking a little bit of a risk, opting to go for a gateway first instead of a cannon first, but he does know, based upon the spawning locations and the sheer walking distance here on this map, that because of how far these two bases are, Zerglings will not be able to get in anytime soon. One drone now looking to pass its way through. It looks like it will be able to get in, and yes, slip by it does. The drone's going to pretty much see everything it needs to, sees the low ground expansion, sees the double assimilators now being played down by Hasu. So Hasu may transition this into a cybernetics core with a Stargate once again. The drone now wandering around over here, gonna grow up to be an extractor, and pretty much perhaps come back and scout a little bit later. The gateway has been completed. We are now going into that cybernetics core, and after that cybernetics core, we may see a Stargate somewhere on the low ground at the natural expansion. The extractor about to be completed alongside the Nexus. The extractor pretty much has been done, and Xlord, I'm not quite sure why he wanted to keep this extractor off over here. Perhaps it was miscancelled, but I can't really imagine him wanting to go for a gas block when he knows that his opponent has already 3 gas to work with. We are going into a roach warren though by Xlord, and let's take a look at the drone count. Currently sitting on 18 drones, and this may be a very large roach push in just a moment, and if it is, Hasu is going to be in trouble. He needs to get that Stargate down, and yes, there is already 4 roaches now being added. There is no Stargate to be added just quite yet, and even if it is added, it may be quite some time, as he is now chrono boosting out a sentry. So the sentry should be a little bit helpful in pushing back many of those roaches, but still, Hasu is in a lot of trouble right now if those Zerglings and roaches start to knock on that front door. A probe now coming up the ramp. The roaches very smartly being hidden by an Xlord, making sure that those roaches are not spotted. Perhaps Hasu was looking for the drone saturation and see how many drones were at the natural expansion, and he couldn't really get a good sight. He couldn't really know how many drones were there versus how many drones were at the main base to see if he needs to get his Stargate earlier. 8 drones are now being added, as it is only a small cautionary force of roaches coming across the map. We are now sitting on 6 roaches. Those roaches are now gonna, the roaches are gonna find that probe, take it down. And what is the response going to be? We are now going into a Twilight Council, as Stalkers and Zealots are being added. The Zergling is not going to really be able to do very much of anything, and then those Roaches are just going to take a lot of damage from the Photon Cannons. You can already see, oh, the Forge just close enough. Oh, very nicely done. Xlord purposely using this one Roach over here to gain sight up onto the high ground, and now even more units over here from the low ground are gaining sight onto this gateway. The Photon Cannon nowhere near close enough, as this gateway taking a bit of damage. Force fields could be placed down to perhaps push back those units, but that is not going to work at all. This is just really, really bad news. hasu did not think to get one Photon Cannon off over here. A new gateway now going to be added, and it is going to be once again destroyed rather quickly by those Roaches now being cancelled. There are simply enough sentries here to really push back against this attack. One Photon Cannon still attacking that Roach, which was providing sight up onto the high ground, now going back down. You can see that there is a Photon Cannon off over here. Perhaps another Photon Cannon will be added here in just a moment, as the Roaches are now trying to push in. Should be able to take down that Zealot. That Zealot down to 12 hit points. It does get taken down, but not after a couple of force fields prevent any easy movement by those Roaches. Now, Xlord has taken this opportunity to really heavily drone up. He is now getting, or he is now sitting on 44 drones compared to 31. And with 5 Roaches, he is forcing hasu to really focus and micro and getting a lot more stationary defense than he would really like. Taking a look at the army compositions right now and taking a look at the units, we have 3 sentries and 33 probes, and that is it. Everything else that hasu has is currently just infrastructure in Photon Cannons. There we go. There's the force fields. And now those Roaches are going to be stuck inside this base. He has baited them. Nicely done by hasu. hasu coming out slightly ahead in that engagement there. Unfortunately for him, he is behind in Harvesters. 37 compared to 48. The third base already established by Xlord. Xlord should be able to get in some key injects. And then the Zerg army is just will continue to swarm. We are currently running off of 4 warp gates in the main base, 1 at the natural expansion. Stalkers, sentries, and I haven't seen a single Zealot yet are now making their way out across the map. The Zerglings do not have metabolic boost, so the Stalkers are very, very highly upgraded, as we may be getting into some Spine Crawlers now. A macro hatch is being established, level 2 weapons upgrade, but I don't see enough Zealots to really deal the necessary damage. And there are Stalkers over here. Sentries are down over here. The sentries have to be very careful. The sentries are now going to force field. One sentry was in a bad position, as these Stalkers are now simply up on the high ground and may continue to destroy these destructible rocks. What is going to be happening here? The units need to make their way down, destroy these rocks, and then walk up. There are Stalkers up on the high ground. They're going to get off some easy and free shots again, and they can blink up and down as needed. I believe you can actually blink to the corner of the ramp, as the Stalkers are now looking to get some easy damage over here. Stalkers are now back over here. Zerglings are now going to perhaps try to engage. There's one force field, as the pylon has been completed. hasu at 84 over 84 food needs to definitely get more pylons, otherwise he is going to be supply blocked. He already is supply blocked, as the larger army of hasu now engaging. Stalkers going after drones, going after the hatchery. We can see that there are a lot of Zerglings over here, but we are also going, I believe we were going into Mutalisks. No, we have 12 Mutalisks already, as the hatchery does get taken out. Zealots going after those Broodlings. Very easy shots there. More Zerglings now trying to come out. They're going to die the moment that they are hatched. And now the units are backing off once more, as there was a group of Mutalisks now inside the main base. Xlord coming in with only 5 Mutalisks, getting some easy damage onto those probes. So all the Mutalisks are now being forced back. One Mutalisk trying to fly by and ends up taking a lot of damage, as we are now up to 17 worker kills by Xlord. So Xlord has gotten some worker kills down over here, and now what is going to continue to happen? Stalkers now need to push their way forward. Zealots and sentries, force fields now coming in. Force fields are protecting many of those sentries from getting taken down, minimizing the surface area. The Stalkers are trying to blink around, but also trying to minimize the surface area, and find themselves stuck in between the force fields and the wall, but the Mutalisks have still been able to get to them, and there is the well played by hasu. So Hasu losing 2 straight games to Xlord, as Xlord in game 1 played an amazing macro game, and in game 2 opened up with a bit of a gambit. 5-6 roaches to put down early pressure. Hasu perhaps not being able to chrono boost and build his base as much as he wanted to, while Xlord got an 11 drone or 11 worker lead and was able to ride the economic wave to victory. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope to see you guys on BattleNet. And yeah, let me know what you guys want me to live stream. Just leave comments in this video and don't forget to like the video.